Good morning, student. Dr. Yogesh Patinge, Assistant Professor in Commerce, GS College of Commerce, Wardha. From today, we are starting unit number 3, final accounts of cooperative societies. Cooperative societies account, or it is called as a final accounts of cooperative societies. As per our syllabus, we have to study Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act 1960 according to the syllabus of Rashtrasanta Tukaji Maharaj Nagpur University. In this unit, we have to study Maharashtra Cooperative Societies, which comes under the Act Maharashtra Societies Cooperative Societies Act 1960. So the rules and regulations which are framed in that particular law, in that particular regulations, are applicable to this problems that we have seen. In last some lectures in unit first, we had seen account, just revising those things. We had studied accounting standard. First we had studied the basic conventions and conceptions of financial accounting, then we studied about accounting standard, then we studied about final accounts of sole traders. That was unit number first. In unit number 2, which I had mentioned you earlier, that there is a change from academic year 2021. Unit number 2 is branch accounting, that we studied taking different kinds of problems and numericals in unit number 2. In unit number 3, we are going to study final accounts of cooperative society. Now, what does this cooperative society means? Cooperative society is actually the members which come together and just want to start a new business, or they are producing something, or they are trading something. So just here I mentioned a trading account. If that cooperative society is engaged in manufacturing business, then here you have to replace it with manufacturing account. So you just have to prepare a manufacturing account, P&L account, P&L appropriation account, and balance sheet. So first we have to study whether that cooperative society is engaged in producing something or in trading trading business. Just taking in a short way. So first we have to study that problem properly, whether we have to prepare a manufacturing account or a trading account. Okay. So when we study the problems of cooperative societies, first we have to keep in mind that the rules and regulations which are mentioned in Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act 1960, that we have to keep in mind that those rules and regulations are going to be followed here. That's why some of the important things which are the part of our problem I just wrote here. I'm just going to discuss those things in a later duration of this lecture. So as we have to prepare a final accounts of cooperative societies, this final account is being distributed in 4 parts: trading account or manufacturing account, profit and loss account, profit and loss appropriation account, and the last is balance sheet. There is a standard pro forma. We have to follow that standard pro forma. That's why I just invested this lecture only for pro forma discussion. From next lecture we are actually going to start the problems. Problems are very easy. But what we have to do, we have to just keep in mind that pro forma, because better we have to follow that pro formas in the same sequences which are mentioned here. Because for example, if you are in next academic year, and in your second year or third year, when you study the bank accounts, final bank accounts, there also you have to you have to solve the problem with the help of schedules. Here also there is no particular mention of schedules, but these are the sequences in which we have to write down our balance sheet or appropriation account or a profit and loss account. It makes it more systematic, it makes it more descriptive in nature, and then we can find out the things which we have to find out. So this is the way we have to solve the problems of cooperative societies. As I mentioned you earlier, what is a cooperative society? Cooperative society is actually the group of members which come together. They just want to trade something, they just want to manufacture something, and the profit whichever they will earn, they are going to distribute it among themselves. They can again retain that profit, they can reinvest that profit, they can expand their business. So this is actually a working of a group for a common purpose. They should have some common purpose. So we will just find out different cooperative societies in our area. For example, if we are in Wardha, then Dudh Dugdha Bhandar or Goras Bhandar. Actually, this is one type of cooperative society. When you just go to that particular location to buy a milk from Goras Bhandar, you will just see that board on a wall which they have mentioned. It is called in Marathi as a Sanchalak Mandal. So it is mentioned on that particular board that people who are actually running that cooperative society, they are get elected from their election system which they have in their statute, and they have that complete rights to run the entire business. So this way they actually do run the cooperative society business. Moving to our syllabus, there are certain things we should keep in mind. For example, when there is a profit, that profit has to be transferred to balance sheet. It should be 25%. So the reserve fund, it should be the 25%. 1/4 of the net profit need to be transferred to a reserve fund. That's why I just mentioned here to provision for reserve fund 1/4 of a net profit. That you have to keep in mind that when there will be a net profit, 25% of that net profit or 1/4 of that net profit need to be transferred to the reserve fund. That is one necessary thing which we should have to keep in mind. The second one is distribution of dividend. It should not be more than 12%, and if it is distributed in forms of shares, it should not be more than 3%. Once again repeating it, distribution of dividend should not be more than 12%, and if it is being distributed in terms of share, it should not be more than 3%. Dividend equalization fund not more than 2% of paid up capital. So these are the important this is the important information which we should have to be keep in mind at the time of solving a problem. Now moving to the trading account, I'm just going to read those pro formas. I'm going to explain those pro formas, what is the meaning of that, and from our next lecture we will be ready, we will be in a ready mood to solve the problems, because in between I will provide you the problems which I'm going to take in this online recording session. As I mentioned earlier that the things that I provide, I generally try to solve those problems in same sequence which I just provide to you on Google Drive account of your class. So before a next lecture, I will provide you a PDF file of problems of cooperative societies. We will solve those problems in the same sequence which I will provide you. Right now we are just going to be here to discuss this pro forma. So the first one is a trading account. Opening stock of that particular financial year, to purchases of goods, then return outwards if there is a return, purchase return, then expenses on purchases, freight charges, carriage inward, custom duty, wages. These are the expenses which are the part of trading account. If you are solving a manufacturing account, then there will be specific expenses which are actually related to manufacturing process. Trading account credit side, buy sales of goods, then return inwards if there is a return from that sale, closing stock, and gross loss if any, because this is a pro forma. That's why I mentioned here a gross profit or a gross loss, which is going to be transferred to profit and loss account. So this is a trading account. Now moving to the profit and loss account, these things we should have to keep in mind. Reserve fund 25% of net profit, distribution of dividend not more than 12%, and if it is being distributed with through shares not more than 3% of this, actually ultimately it will be of net profit. Dividend equalization fund 2% of paid up capital. These are the ceiling limits. The amounts should not be more than this. Now profit and loss account. In profit and loss account, if there is a gross loss, then gross loss transfer from trading account to interest paid and due, then to bank charges, then these are some expenses, then there is a mention of certain expenses, establishment and contingent charges. The first one is to staff salaries and allowances. These are the expenses regarding running of that particular society, running of that organization. To rent, rates and taxes, to printing and stationery, to postage and telegram, to audit fees, to director fees and traveling allowances, to traveling expenses, to insurance. So these are all the expenses which are related to what? Establishment and contingent charges, because there is a need of expenses which are there to running that particular society, to run that particular organization. After that, there is a selling and distribution expenses, advertisement, miscellaneous expenses, depreciation, bad debts written off, reserve for doubtful debt. So these are the expenses which are related with selling and distribution expenses. Coming on this side, if it is a gross profit from trading account, then by gross profit transfer from trading account, interest received and due, by commission received, by dividend received, by share transfer fees, by sale of forms. By sale of forms means if society wants to enroll new members, they have to sell the forms, they will receive the fees regarding application forms, that will be done by sale of forms. And if there is a net loss balancing these two sides, ultimately the net profit will transfer to balance sheet, and also net loss will also transfer to balance sheet. So this is the expenses which are mentioned in profit and loss account. Then profit and loss appropriation account. Here we have to make the appropriations. Why there is a need of profit and loss appropriation account? Because when you are actually maintaining the reserves, when law asks you to maintain the reserves, that reserves has to be maintained as per the requirement. So those reserves are maintained in that lifespan of that society, and that thing are mentioned in account which is called as a profit and loss appropriation account. So here to provision for reserve fund, I mentioned here 1/4 of the net profit. It means 25% or 1/4 of a net profit that has to be, you have to keep away from net profit. That to dividend to shareholders, to provision for dividend, to provision for dividend equalization fund, to provision for education fund. These are all provisions, and these all provisions has to be from net profit. If there are certain percentages which are mentioned in regulations, we have to do with that. But again, there can be special references in that particular problem. So taking that clue from that particular problem, you have to make the provision for these expenses. I am repeating again the same thing. Certain provisions are statutory provisions as per the rules and regulation of Maharashtra Society Cooperative Act, Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act. But certain provisions will be mentioned in that particular problem. We have to read that problem properly. I have to make the provisions according to that. So provision for capital reduction fund. This is a debit side of profit and loss appropriation account. Then by balance brought forward from last year, by net profit as per profit and loss account, by deficit if there is a difference in these two sides, that will be deficit will transfer to balance sheet. If there is a surplus, it will also transfer to balance sheet. So this is about a profit and loss appropriation account. So in summary, what we mentioned in the profit and loss appropriation account, these are the provisions as per the regulation of that particular act. We have to follow that particular percentages and certain things which are mentioned in that particular problem. So this is all about profit and loss appropriation account. Coming to balance sheet, I just mentioned here the main points. These are the schedules, or these are the main points under which there will be different transactions. Because I have the list space available here, I just can't write each and everything. So what I did here, I just mentioned main points of that particular balance sheet. So at liability side, we start from a share capital, reserve and funds. These are main titles under which we have to mention certain transactions which are related to those things. Staff provident fund, secured loans, unsecured loans. Secured loans means the loans which have some security, they are mortgage. Unsecured loans generally personal loans which don't have that security against them. Deposits, other liabilities and provisions, and profit and loss account. So this is about the liability side. In asset side, cash and bank balance, investment of this cooperative society, stock provident fund investment, loans and advances which this cooperative society has given to others, loans due, current assets, fixed assets, miscellaneous expenses and losses, and other items. So this is what we can a short way of writing the balance sheet. I just mentioned here the titles of balance sheet. In between we have to write along different transactions which are the part of that problem. So this is a balance sheet. So when we prepare trading account or a manufacturing account, profit and loss account, expenses of running that particular business, profit and loss appropriation account, different types of provisions, and finally balance sheet, the liabilities and asset of that cooperative society. This entire thing is called as final accounts of cooperative society. As I mentioned earlier, in this particular chapter, we have to follow Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act 1960 and we have to follow the provisions. So, one caution should be there if you are actually referencing a book from other state or international book, even though those problem of final accounts of cooperative society, we have to apply the rules and regulation of Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act 1960. So first referencing those or reading the problems from different books of cooperative society, you have to keep in mind whether that problem is of Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act 1960 or not. That is very important because in Nagpur University syllabus we have to apply with that rule, because when you are actually reading the problem of different state cooperative societies, this percentage can differ, this percentage can change, and in our syllabus as per Nagpur University syllabus these things are very important. So reading the material from different reference books, you have to keep in mind that that book should have cooperative society problems of Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act 1960. In next lecture we will start the actual problems. In between I will provide you a PDF file containing the problems of Cooperative Society Act, and from next lecture we will solve those problems in the same sequence which I will provide you in that particular file. Read the reference books properly and see this pro forma, refer that pro forma from different books properly. In next lecture we will meet for the problems. Thank you.